To kick us off, though, I will go ahead and read off a question that we received last night via email. So, how much has the COVID-19 virus impacted your logistics and timeline for the next season's start?
Well, first of all, hello to everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to join us here today. Where do I start with that question? There's been people that we've hired that I haven't met yet. It's been impactful in the sense that the NHL has had to adjust their schedule. It's not an 82-game season this year; it's 56. As you're seeing, some teams are getting to play, some teams are shutting down, so the schedule's kind of bouncing all over the place. On the amateur front, there's leagues that haven't started yet and may not start, may not play a game. So, a lot of different challenges for sure. But I think as a group, we understand the challenges are there. We're not making any excuses, and we're working hard to make sure that we're prepared as we possibly can be for our expansion draft and our amateur draft in July.
Great, thank you. Next up, Ian Furness, KJR.
Hi, Ron. How involved were you, and how much did you have conversations over the last couple of weeks leading up to the trade deadline as you get ready for the expansion draft?
And you're always talking to your counterparts and having discussions with them. Obviously we're not an official team within the league until we make our last payment. So, you can't make any trades, and you don't have a season going on this year. So we're not really involved in that front, but certainly talking to a lot of the guys and having discussions, and we'll continue to do that as we move forward towards the expansion draft in July.
Thanks.
Ryan Clark, The Athletic.
Hey, Ron, thank you so much for doing this. Ron, can you hear me?
I can now, Ryan. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. Hope you're doing well. I guess the question I've got for you is, when you look at the fact that you guys are still waiting to make your final payment, which I know you said on TSN is going to come later this month, how does that work with something, let's say, like when you're looking at the college free agent market, the major junior free agent market, or even free agents over in Europe? I mean, is it one of those things where you can be active on those fronts, or is it a little bit different because it seems like the top college free agents have already all kind of come off the board?
Yeah, the college ones are a little bit more challenging. And the big part of that, Ryan, is not so much that the payment happening later hasn't happened yet. A lot of times in those big college free agents, what the agents and the player want is to kind of burn the season, which is this year, right? And we're not involved this year, so we can't burn this year. We would have to start next year. So that takes us out on a lot of those negotiations anyways. But certainly we're looking at that. We're looking at Ontario Hockey League or Western Hockey League or Quebec Junior Major Hockey League players, and as well as in Europe, to see if there's any free agents there that we would have an interest in signing.
Andy Ide, Sound of Hockey.
Yes, hi. I had a question about the amateur draft. I'm curious what your day-to-day involvement in that process of scouting is, and do you have a sense on the overall depth and talent of this year's class?
Yeah, so been fairly involved. It's tough to get to games. You can't go to Canada because you got to quarantine for 2 weeks, and a lot of those leagues weren't really playing. I should say the Quebec League started up and shut down, and currently is shut down. They're hoping to get their playoffs going, but there's no guarantee they're going to. The Ontario League has not played a game yet. There's still hope that they will. I saw the Ontario Junior Hockey League canceled their season today, so hopefully the Ontario Hockey League doesn't go follow that and at least get some games in. And then the Western League, as everybody kind of knows out here, just started up recently in the last month or so. So I am planning on going down to Kent tonight to watch Traverse City and the Seattle Thunderbirds play, so that'll be good. And we've done a lot of homework, basically via video and stuff. So it's going to be an extremely challenging draft for sure. There's going to be players that, especially from the Ontario League, that may not have played a game since last February, March, and you're watching them on video. There's going to be guys from that league that maybe are playing in, different leagues across Europe, and you're trying to evaluate what that level of competition is and how they're stacking up against it. So certainly challenging. Everybody's in that sort of same boat. They probably have a little bit more data on the players than we do. We certainly have some scouts with experience that have more data on players, but we don't have the database that some of those other teams have, just the fact they've been in operations for 2 or 3 years.
Thanks.
Stephen Wino, Associated Press.
Hey, Ron. Good to talk to you. 4 years ago, I think George, before the final payment for Vegas was done, made kind of a handshake deal with Pittsburgh about Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm curious, ahead of the deadline, was there anything you could agree to or agree to terms on? And were there any moves made at the deadline that affected your guys' thinking going into the expansion draft?
Yeah, I think you always have the capability of having those discussions and reaching those agreements if both sides agree to it. You can't execute anything obviously at this point, but I think we're like everybody else on that trade deadline day. We're watching it. We're analyzing things when trades happen. We're updating our lists and seeing how that affects where we were thinking on certain teams. But this is not something that was surprising to us. I think we said that right from day one that it's going to change. The GMs have had a lot of time to prepare for this, and they're certainly doing their best to make sure that they're as protected as they possibly can as they head into the expansion draft this summer.
Nick Katsunika, NHL.com.
Hey, Ron, piggybacking off of that, Doug Armstrong made sure to tell us that, everyone had learned a lot from Vegas on the way that they had worked the rules to their advantage last time. And he said they were very cognizant of what it would cost them if they acquired a player to protect that player or protect somebody else. I guess my question is, did you run into that when you were talking to GMs? Did you get a sense that they were more prepared for you just because of their experience with Vegas?
Well, I think you just look at it. I mean, the previous expansion draft before Vegas was in 2000. So it had been 17 years before Vegas came into the league and expansion. And a lot of the GMs were in place hadn't been through expansion before. And it was a new experience for everybody, a new set of rules. So certainly, there was an advantage, I think, in Vegas over some of the teams at that point. Plus, I don't think teams had as long a runway to prepare for that expansion draft. So this has only been 4 years from the last expansion draft. A lot of those same GMs are in place. So I'm certainly sure that they've learned a lot, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure they're better protected against us as we roll into the summer in this year's expansion draft for sure.
Are there still opportunities, though, because of the cap situation?
We're certainly hoping that there's a lot of different opportunities, and there's a lot of different ways you can look at things. So, we're analyzing everything, having those discussions, and be as ready as we possibly can be in those situations as they present themselves moving forward.
Barry Bloom, Sportico.
Thank you. Hi, Ron. How are you? It's been a long time.
Thanks.
So have you been to the arena recently? What's it look like? What's your confidence that the season is going to start on time, because the NHL hasn't announced the schedule yet? And talking with your people, safety people who are doing the same stuff for the new UBS arena on Long Island, they were optimistic that they think they're going to be able to open the arena with full capacity. What's your sense of the situation there?
Well, a lot of questions there. Let me try and take them as many as I can there. But I did tour the arena actually this morning. Went through and looked at a lot of stuff. And I think it's just an absolutely incredible building. I think our fans, the people of Seattle and Pacific Northwest, are just going to absolutely love going to watch a hockey game in there, going to watch a concert, any kind of event. It's just it's sort of an intimate structure, and you really feel like you're close to the ice, and I think it was well laid out. So that was really exciting for me. I mean, you do a lot of meetings on Zoom. You're trying to design a locker room and other aspects of the building. We haven't got to the point where the carpets and seats and stuff are in place, but a lot of the stuff is done. All indications are we're more than comfortable. We'll be ready to open the building in October, which is when the season should be starting. I certainly hope we can open for the full building. I certainly hope that this pandemic is behind us and everybody's vaccinated and safe moving forward. But until we get to that point, it's hard to speculate. So we plan as if we're able to move forward 100% capacity and ready to roll. But I think we're also looking at what if, and if this happens or that happens, you want to be prepared for those situations as well.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Chris Daniels, King 5.
Yeah, hi, Ron. Is it a foregone conclusion at this point that you're waiting until the end of this current NHL season before hiring your head coach? And along those lines, when do you want them in place? How early do you want them in place before the expansion draft?
Well, I had 6 or 7 questions before we got to the coaches. That was good, Chris. I appreciate that. I think we've been pretty consistent in what we're saying, that we're looking to hire our head coach and that staff probably as we get into the second quarter of this year. That really hasn't changed. I think you look at the guys who are sitting out there currently without jobs. You look at guys that are currently working that maybe have expiring contracts. You look at other situations that may be looking to make a change, and you're not really going to know a lot of that until the next month or two. So the season, I think, was supposed to end May 8th, and then it was May 10th, and now it's May 16th, and then the playoffs have to start after that. So, we're patient. We think we're prepared when we get to that point to zero in and talk to the people we want to talk to and make that decision. But right now, we think it's prudent on our part just to sort of be patient and wait and see, who is all out there when making that final decision.
Jeff Baker, Seattle Times.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Ron, just with COVID-19 and the flat salary cap that's resulted from it, in your mind, how has that changed some of the behaviors you might have seen from your fellow GMs over the past year that you might not have anticipated seeing before COVID, and that affects some of your strategizing going forward when it comes to trying to swing some of these deals on the side?
Yeah, no, I think everybody was counting on the cap moving up. So I think when you get into this situation, you have a flat cap, it certainly presents a few more challenges for teams that were projecting it to go up. I think you're seeing a little bit of that last year in some of the contracts that were signed, especially the free agent ones. Even so, maybe this year as well in regards to the term and the dollar amount, maybe not being, where it was in years past with those a lot of 7 and 8 year sort of free agent deals. A lot of the terms have been shorter this time and numbers different. So I think that factors into it as well. It'll be interesting to see what they do with some of their players, especially, RFAs with arb rights, this summer and managing their cap. And, a lot of teams have some really good young players whose contracts are coming up and it's a challenge to find money to make sure you pay those guys. So, we're looking at all those different situations in a lot of different teams and trying to see if there's something there that makes sense for us.
Dave Mahler, KJR.
Hey, Ron, question for you, just to follow up on Chris's question about the head coach. Do you guys have a finalist list in place right now that you're working off of for that?
We have a spreadsheet. Yeah, we've had a spreadsheet for a long time and looking at all the different coaches and kind of who they are and what they do and where they've been and what their status is. And so we update that as we move along and things change. But yeah, we've got a sheet of data that we're working off for sure.
And then just to follow up on that, to Chris's question again, is it possible that you could wait until the playoffs have concluded, or do you foresee naming a head coach at minimum before the postseason ends?
Yeah, it's tough to say at this point. I always said second quarter, so that puts us at probably in the playoffs, because if they're not starting till sometime middle of May, that probably puts you into the second round of the playoffs. But it all depends really, I think, how things lay out, Dave, and where we're at. If we think we've got our guy and we're comfortable with it, we're not afraid to make that decision prior. If we think there's a reason why we should wait a little bit longer, we're comfortable waiting in that as well too. I mean, we don't have the expansion draft till July 21st, we make our announcement, and we don't get those lists till the 18th. So we do have some time once the playoffs get rolling.
Thanks.
John Barr, Sound of Hockey.
I think you're on mute, John.
Yeah.
Oh, you came off and then you went back on mute.
You good now?
There we go.
All right. Sorry about that. So obviously you could not make trades yesterday, but there were trades made. There was a couple contract extensions and a waiver claim. As a whole, how do you think Seattle did yesterday, and were there any surprises?
No, I mean, I think before the waiver claims, we said there's two guys who probably get claimed. I mean, it may not have been 100% on the actual team, but it goes by worst to best, right, as to who gets first choice on those waiver claims. And then, a lot of the guys that moved were guys, for the most part, that were in UFA status. So, I think overall there wasn't any huge surprises for us per se. And, we've already taken a look at where we think we've been affected sort of positively or negatively, and we'll continue to look at that and evaluate as we move forward here and regroup as a whole and start preparing from here to July. Because, this is kind of what we said all along. We can do a mock draft 12 months ago or 6 months ago, but until we get closer to that day, and until we get to see that final list, it's hard to project 100% accuracy what we're going to be picking from. But we'll look at all the different scenarios we think might present themselves and be best prepared as we possibly can be.
Thank you.
Ryan Kennedy, The Athletic.
Hi, Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News here. Ron, just curious, because this is Seattle's, you're just building a pipeline now. Do you have more of an appetite to acquire extra picks for the 2021 draft?
I think my philosophy over time is the more darts you get to throw at the board, the better chance you have in success. So, we're open to anything and everything as we try and build this team, from draft picks to players to, guys that might be RFAs that are left unprotected, to guys that are UFAs that we may look to sign as unrestricted free agents. So, we're not opposed to looking in any area to try and build the best possible team we can first year, as well as build the organization for the long term to be successful year after year.
Thank you.
Darren Brown, Sound of Hockey.
Hey, Ron. Two quick questions for you. One, is there any chance whatsoever that the coach that you hire as the first coach is somebody who has not actually been a head coach in the NHL before? And the other one, I'm wondering if you can just talk about your plans a little bit for your goaltenders, if you're going to be using like 2 veterans, for example, or maybe 1 veteran goaltender and 1 younger goaltender, a platoon situation. Any thoughts you might have on that, or if you can share them?
Yeah, so I think I'm on record as saying that in a perfect world, I'd like a head coach that has kind of been in that role before. I think it's a tough challenge to sort of bring everybody together in such a quick fashion, and having a little bit of experience certainly wouldn't help in that regard. Having said that, if there was somebody that hasn't been a head coach in the NHL that auditions and interviews extremely well, we're not opposed to going that direction. But I think it is, our preference to get somebody with head coaching experience if possible. The goaltending front's going to be interesting. I think as we get into the last month here of the season, into the playoffs, we're going to get a better read on some of the guys that might be available and who we think is the best fit for us. But you also have to factor in looking at all the different options you're going to have on different teams. And, just because this might have a goaltender doesn't mean you're going to take that goaltender. So ideally you get a guy that's lights out as your starter and a great number 2. Maybe you go with, 2 sort of 1Bs, maybe you go with 1 and a younger guy. I think that remains to be seen. I think we're open to evaluating all those different scenarios, and certainly our goalie scout has been working hard in addition to our pro staff and trying to indicate which guys that we should be interested in, and our analytics team is working hard behind the scenes to try and see if they can figure it out as well too. So doing a lot of things, and hopefully we just get the right 2 guys to stop pucks when we get to that point.
That's great. Thank you.
Great. We're going to take a second round of questions for about the next 10 minutes here. I do ask, if you don't have a second question, please lower your hand. We're going to go ahead and start with Ryan Clark, The Athletic.
Hey, Ron, philosophically speaking, when it comes to how you guys are going to evaluate the cap floor, there's going to be teams that are going to try to maybe get you guys into taking larger contracts. Like, what's sort of been the conversation? Is it one of those things where taking on a large AAV is doable, or is that something you all are trying to stay away from, or is it a situation by situation sort of process?
I think you kind of answered with your last statement, Ryan. I think it's situation by situation. It's going to depend on the player. It's going to depend on the dollar amount of the contract, the AAV. It's going to depend on the term of the contract, and then it's going to depend on what that price is. So, we're certainly open to having those discussions, but it's almost a case by case evaluation as to whether it makes sense or not for us, short term and long term.
Great. Nick Katsanika, NHL.com.
Hey, Ron, I wanted to take the opportunity to ask you about a former Seattle Thunderbird. Patrick Marleau is about to reach Gordie Howe's record for games played. As the person who's fifth on the list, I was just wondering what your perspective on that record is and why you think Marleau is going to be the one to break it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of hockey games. I know I played for 23 years, and those are a lot of hockey games for me. And it's great to see Patrick still playing. And I think maybe in at times you think nobody was going to catch certain records, but it looks like he's going to do it, and that's exciting for him. It's exciting for the game, and you have to be a true pro to be able to accomplish that. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to love to play the game. You've got to show up and mentally be sharp every night, so you're not putting yourself in positions to get hurt and miss time. And obviously, Patty's done that. He's still playing it after all these years and playing it, with success. And it's great to see him have this opportunity to pass Mr. Hockey. So rooting hard for him to do it.
Thank you.
Jeff Baker, the Seattle Times.
I think you're on mute, Jeff.
Little technical difficulties. Jeff, we'll try to circle back to you here shortly. Barry Bloom, Sportico.
Hey, I have two questions this time. Number one, you touched on it earlier in your presentation. How does it affect building a team now where you really have had intermittent play in junior hockey, minor league hockey? Development has been sporadic. Like Major League Baseball hasn't had a minor league game since 2019 at this point. So when you look at the draft and how you build with young players, how does that affect what you want to do as a team just trying to set a roster?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's certainly extremely challenging. You'd like to be able to see all these kids play and have a pretty good indication of who they are and what they're about. And, I had kids myself. I know myself I grew so much between 17 and 18, I changed dramatically, right? And a lot of these kids will do that. So you'd like to have that opportunity to see them not only where they are physically, but also where they are on the ice. And we're not going to have that opportunity. So it's going to be a challenge. I was talking with some of the GMs and they say, we might get a better player in the fourth round than you get in the first or second round, just based on that kind of unfortunate circumstances. But it is what it is. And we'll do everything we can to make sure we get it as right as possible. On the NHL front, you bring up an interesting point, and we talked about the 82 games that normally is played. There's 56 this season. I personally, watching a lot of those games, I feel for the players. I mean, they look a little mentally and physically tired here the last month and a half, and it has to be draining. I don't blame them. So I think it's challenging in that regard. And some nights maybe you're not seeing their best, so you have to sort of factor that into your scouting aspect. The league created the invention of the taxi squads this year. I understand why they did it, but historically, you're either playing in the NHL or you're playing in the American Hockey League, and then you can go and watch a player play in one of the two places and evaluate them. With the taxi squad, a lot of guys are sitting on those taxi squads. They're not playing in the NHL, and they're not playing in the American Hockey League, so it's hard to really get sort of an evaluation on these players. And these are a lot of the guys that are sort of in that bubble area, so that's been more of a challenge as well. So certainly a lot of things we're dealing with, but I give a lot of credit to our guys, Dave Basiggio and this pro staff who've been out there and working really hard in tough circumstances and doing a great job trying to get the answers we need to get.
Okay, and then secondly, as far as going back to COVID is concerned, how much of an advantage do you think what is for you guys that you were able to watch these two seasons transpire without having to field a team at this point or put a team on the ice? And then by the time you draft players, theoretically, most of them ought to be vaccinated.
Yeah, I think from a business standpoint, certainly you wouldn't want to start your first season with all your fans not being able to be in your building. So I think we're very fortunate in that regard that we're hoping to start, with a full house, in the 21-22 season here in October. So that's been a positive. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I think probably by that time, most of the players should at least have the opportunity to receive the vaccination. Whether they do or not is their choice. But I just think hopefully, in general, the world's in a much better place. Obviously, still some concerns with the border in Canada and making sure that they're vaccinated and up and running there as well. But it's certainly, talking to a lot of my counterparts, it's been a very challenging season for the GMs, the players, their medical staff, everybody involved. It's not been easy, and give them a lot of credit. They've done a heck of a job, putting a good product on the ice in very tough times.
Yeah, to your point, Canada's going backwards. I mean, Ontario's about to shut down again, and you had the whole Vancouver situation. So who knows when the border is going to be open there?
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, they've got some challenge ahead of them for sure.
Thank you.
Great. Final question, Andy Ide, Sound of Hockey.
Hey, Ron, I had a question about your American Hockey League situation. How much progress has it been made, or is there a time frame for identifying an affiliate for your players to play on next fall? And do you prefer them to be on one team or spread across more than one team?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of conversations with different teams. Ideally, we have it with one team, and we are in talk a specific team currently. Hopefully get that wrapped up sooner rather than later. And if we can do that, we put everybody in one spot ideally. If not, then we're probably looking at spreading some players out here and there and different things, but not having your own, minor league team next year. We're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 players. And ideally, if we can put that in one spot, it makes it a lot easier.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. There have been questions about the recording. We could be able to share that with you later this evening, but thank you all for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.